Workwear is a key development driver for textile innovations. High demands on material and functionality meet comfort and fashion requirements. Digitalization is also revolutionizing the textile industry. Smart textiles are increasingly conquering workwear.
The future of textile looks bright because textiles addresses a basic need of all people. And of course, as a fiber-based material, there's a huge potential which is not used yet.
Especially in workwear, it's always about protecting the human. And of course, there are some functionalities that can basically enhance the protection. For instance, like sensors could be integrated that measure the environment, like the heat or maybe gases in the surroundings, so that the person knows, well, it's getting dangerous. An innovation, for instance, is also to have active lighting in your jackets.
Workwear is not so much seen in publicity, but is always a forerunner in innovation. For example, RFIDs, so these information tags, were firstly used in workwear to control the cleaning cycle and so on. And even for digital textile in means of sensoring, I'm pretty much sure that workwear is the first application of wide use, because it's a full scope of ownership of the textile, and so it's much more controlled than any other use of textiles.
A good view is always looking at like the research landscape at university and research institutes. And there for the moment we see that actually a holistic approach is followed, like that whole systems are being developed out of textiles, so that you have like sensors, actuators, the batteries, maybe also a bit of data processing directly incorporated into your clothing. And I think that's the way to go.
From startups in fiber materials research to established specialized manufacturers of protective clothing, companies are working on textile answers to the requirements of tomorrow.
We have several products in our pipeline, but the first one which we go to market to is aluminum-coated basalt fibers. Now, this sounds very complex, but in the end it's just a metal fiber that we work into a fabric which is used for shielding, filtration or sensor applications. Usually metal fibers are very expensive. Our material can be sold below 30 euros per kg, which opens up many applications which weren't feasible before. For example, we see a first application in sensors where we can be a very cheap alternative to non-washable conductive fibers where our fibers can excel. And then also in shielding, especially people who are subject to high radiations, we can shield them from these EM radiations with a wearable suit basically.
15 bis 20 Jahren werden Sie einen weitaus höheren Schutzlevel von der Schutzbekleidung haben. Diese Schutzbekleidung wird Ihre Vitalparameter erkennen. Sie wird auch interagieren mit anderen Maschinen, um auch mögliche Gefahrensituationen frühzeitig zu erkennen, bevor Sie das überhaupt merken. Wir entwickeln einen Handschuh, der mit einer Maschine interagiert und in einer Gefahrensituation diese Maschine auch ausschaltet. Und das ist bis jetzt einmalig in diesem Bereich, das gibt es noch nicht.
New ideas need a breeding ground. A strong and diverse R&D landscape is essential to turn ideas into reality.
Smart textiles is just a synonym for textile innovation, which shows very clearly that you have integrated different disciplines, different players, institutes, industry, machinery industry, production industry for the textile or the textile product, electronic production. And I think one strength of North Rhine-Westphalia, Western Europe, is to integrate all those different players and disciplines into one innovation.
Basically, we have everything what we need, but it is really to get into a dialogue. So to really merge different industries together, just to bring them on a table together so that they can actually discuss. But of course, they need to find a common language, because it's totally different talking in textile terms, let's say, and then talking in electronics. Those are worlds that have to be matched.
As an entrepreneur, especially as a first-time founder and a spin-off from the university, we don't know anything about the business. So all that we do is more or less new to us. Many different societies and groups in North Rhine-Westphalia, like for example Zenit, are great sources of information to help us build and scale our company. And furthermore, especially in North Rhine-Westphalia, but also in Aachen, we have the potential of great talent.
There are some other industries in North Rhine-Westphalia that are really strong as well. For instance, the biomedical industry, also the research. This is especially a field where we can profit from. And also in some really new educational or scientific fields like nanotechnologies, nanoscience. There is a huge initiative in North Rhine-Westphalia. It's not exactly workwear, but sometimes the innovation, they just appear in another field and then they are transported towards another application field.
We are excited to have you at the Future of Workwear and to provide a platform that will serve as a breeding ground for your innovations.
As we have learned is that smart and technical textiles here in North Rhine-Westphalia are a pioneer in various fields. And we want to seize the opportunity and connect the players. We bring them together and invite them to share their knowledge and also to hopefully find the right partner. Together with our experts in more than 60 countries, we are helping companies and other partners to find the right match. So actually, the Enterprise Europe network is helping companies to innovate and grow internationally in a sustainable and digital way.
Let's seize this opportunity to shape the future of workwear.